Welcome to the Catch Up with Claire. I'm your host, Claire Hoon, and today we are catching up with Lauren. Lauren is the founder of Greenwich Acapella Group. She started this group 5 years ago with 8 students and has since grown it to over 150 singers. That's right. She's here to tell us all about the history of Greenwich Acapella, how she turned her passion for singing and choir and being an acapella group herself in college into this youth community-based group where singers can come to find the power in using their voice. I love the message that Lauren talks about in the translatable life skills that a cappella group gives these students in confidence building and how they carry themselves. It was really such an incredible conversation. And we kicked it off with some fun. We recorded this just after the Super Bowl. We share our takes on the Bad Bunny halftime performance and really had some fun in this conversation. I loved catching up with Lauren, and I hope you enjoy this episode too. Lauren, welcome to the Catch Up with Claire.
I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, let's be honest. Welcome back to the Catch Up with Claire. We did this once a couple weeks ago and very sadly found out afterwards that we had some technical difficulties. So here we are for round 2. But I feel like after our last conversation, we already ended that with, okay, there has to be a part 2. And so I feel like I'm more excited to even pick up a little bit of where we left off and have this conversation today. So thanks for coming back.
I love chatting with you. So it's such a treat to get to do it again.
Okay, before we dig in though, I feel like we need to circle the wagon, as they say, on current events because the Super Bowl was last night, and I know we messaged on Instagram. Were you cheering? Were you watching? Did you have a dog in this fight or a
So
team in this bowl?
I will say that a lot of my friends are Patriots fans. I truthfully am not a football girl. So I did try to do a fantasy league once and that did not go well. But yeah, I was just there for truly the halftime show and the vibes of the Super Bowl. So
Okay, give us your take. Do a rundown of your Bad Bunny bowl. What were your
I
thoughts?
loved it. Oh, I loved it so much. I thought it was so good. And I felt like I learned a lot about Puerto Rican culture that I didn't know. Some things that I knew. But it was really so well done. I know you were sharing on Instagram about your thoughts on how the logistics of it all. And
My
yeah,
terrible dance moves?
well, that too. No, but they were not terrible. They were great. No, but about the logistics of how that all happens. And from a planning standpoint, I just actually don't understand how it's so flawless and quick. But I loved it. I thought it was so good. I also love Charlie Puth, so I was so excited for the national anthem. And then we have
And Brenda Carlisle.
Okay, so I didn't see Brandy Carlisle. I came in as Brandy Carlisle was finishing, but I'll have to go back and watch it.
She did a great job.
Okay.
And Green Day did. I don't know, did they always have, an opening act like Green Day?
Show?
Yeah, did they?
You're asking the wrong person.
Not the football girl. Because I felt like that was new, or maybe it just was never anyone as recognizable as Green Day, or I don't know why. My husband was so why are you so into the Super Bowl this year? I was like, I don't know. I need something that is not the world collapsing to
Yeah.
focus on. And so that it became the Super Bowl. But I agree, yes, the logistics side of the Super Bowl was highly fascinating to me. And especially, I mean, someone reshared this clip and I reposted it, but the entire setup, performance, and breakdown happened in 25 minutes flat.
That's
I
crazy.
cannot fathom. And then I restrained myself because there were more that I wanted to share. But did you know that the bushes were people?
I was convinced that they were gonna come out and do dances. So I was kind of where's the people from the bushes? When are they coming out? No, I was so impressed. I thought it was so good. I also just love anytime there's such a positive message that's being shared. It's so good and it just feels good.
So, it felt so good. It felt very we needed this. And we needed Bad Bunny's halftime Super Bowl performance. It's what we needed. I agree with you though, the representation of Latin culture and Puerto Rican culture. I feel like it was such a good job. So I was talking with someone else about this over the weekend, and they were saying how the performer has to think about it's a unique position to be in because you have to perform for the stadium for everyone who's in the crowd, but
Mhm.
also a global audience on a screen. And so you have to be able to oscillate between those two things. You're giving a live performance, but then you're also being aired on a TV screen. So you have to make it look interesting and engaging to both audiences, which I feel like I'm curious how it translated in the stadium because there was a lot going on, like the way he navigated through the sugarcane, like the fake sugarcane field, but they had like the little, I don't know, the different setups along the way. I thought it was great. I loved it.
I also agree that and, like, the direct like, whoever directed it, like, how they did all like, the cinematography of it all, like, how they
Yes.
made that work. So I'll share more about this, but we have a really exciting music video coming up that we're doing, and our, like, creative team was texting about meeting and talking about our project, and our choreographer was like, "Okay, I'll have to get back to you next week because I'm in rehearsals for the Super Bowl," and I was like, "What?" So she was one of the dancers in the halftime show, which was so cool, and I was, like, watching I saw her, which is I haven't yet met her, so I'll have to ask her all the questions, but
Yeah, I'm gonna say we need her to say
I
more
know.
because that is the most nonchalant way of offering up information. I'm sorry. It's like a can we circle back in January? Like, can we circle back in on Monday or next week because I'm in the Super Bowl performance?
I know, I was
What?
like, "This is not casual." I know. Yeah, I'm really excited to meet her and learn more about what she does, and it's just really cool. So the whole time I was like, "Okay, which one is she?" I'm obsessed with recognizing people. If I'm in especially LA, I love going to LA, which I'm actually going to tomorrow, so I'm gonna do it tomorrow. But I love just, like,
You gonna meet Josie?
I'm gonna meet Josie, yes. I'm so
Yes,
jealous.
jealous. You're
I
the second
can't wait.
person. Take
I'm
me with
so
you.
excited. I can't wait. I know I just like Haley was just texting about like where we can go out to eat and stuff that is like Josie friendly and oh, I can't wait. Yeah, I'll meet her hopefully
Okay, I'm just
tomorrow or
gonna go
Wednesday.
ahead and sidebar for the audience. Laura and I know each other through our mutual friend, Haley, who just had the most gorgeous baby. Lauren is now my second from our friend group that gets to meet baby Josie, but because baby Josie is in LA and I'm in New York, I have to really search hard
You
to
can come with
find a
me.
way.
I'm
I
leaving at
she
2
me
p.m. from JFK. Come join me.
I can be a luggage porter for you. Take me with you. Okay, that's amazing, and now that's all I'm gonna be able to think about.
I can't
Oh,
wait. I'll share all the pictures. But yeah,
thank
so
you.
when I'm there visiting Josie, I will also do one of my favorite activities, which is try to spot celebrities or people that I recognize. And like if I have seen someone on a screen at least twice and I walk past them, I will recognize them and I will be like, that's the person from X show. And I do it all the time. I like to say it's one of my special talents. I don't think anyone else really cares about it as I do, but I just love it. And so I was like trying to use that last night. There's so many people up on the Super Bowl stage, and I was like, okay, which one is she? Which one is she? And I found
There
her.
were a lot of people.
Yeah, it
D
was
d
cool.
Okay, and I also feel like a lot of people actually care about celebrities. I am so bad at spotting people, like, you could bump into me and I'd be like, "Who are you?" Do you have that experience? Have you seen people in New York? Because I feel like it's different in New York, like, celebrity culture in New York versus LA feels very different.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what are good examples. One time I saw Elizabeth Moss in a CVS in New York City.
And she
Yeah,
goes to CVS.
she did. Yeah. This was a long time ago. It was like 5 years ago. But yeah, in LA, it's like I just feel like people
They're
are
everywhere.
everywhere. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I just love it. Like there'll be like a Broadway, not Broadway, a Bravo celebrity. Who was it? Oh, Tamara Judge and her husband Eddie. Eddie. I don't really follow that well too much, but they walked past me in the airport, and I was like, oh my gosh, hi. Oh, wait, who was on my flight recently? Oh, from SNL, Vanessa Bayer, who I really like. She was on my flight. It was right before the SNL 50th, and I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
so it must have been people going to that. And when I realized that, I was like, that's so cool.
Are you
Oh, yeah.
you just notice and observe, or do you, like, say hi?
No, no, I don't say
No.
hi. Yeah, no,
I
no,
just
no.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't take pictures. I let them live, you know?
You just, like, marinate in the existence and be like,
Sometimes if it's, like, someone who I really, like, connect to their work or something, I will, I did it twice maybe. What was the who was it? Okay, it's someone from Shameless, which is, like, one of my favorite shows. His
"So
character is
good."
Ian Gallagher. Now I can't think of his real name, but I do know it. But I saw him actually was also in New York City, and I was driving past, it was a quiet street, and he was, like, taking his bike out of the bike rack, and we're at a red light, and it was just us, and I'm like, "I'm gonna do it." And my sister was in the passenger seat, and she was so mortified, but I lowered the window, and I was just like, "I loved Shameless." And he was just like he turned around, he was like, "Thank you." So yeah, there
Good
are some parts
manners.
that I like,
Good
but
manners. You probably felt safe because it wasn't like you were, like, on the street stopping, like, you were in
sure,
a car, so he knew the light had to change and you had to move on, so it was, like, a safe interaction.
you know it, yeah. You always gotta, let them have their space, but no, it's
I've only ever seen one celebrity in New York, and I don't actually know if this counts as a celebrity, but it was Caitlyn Jenner in 2018. My mom was in town. I was on maternity leave, and my mom was in town, and she had a conference, and so they got to stay at the Mandarin Oriental over in Columbus Circle, but it was also coinciding with Fashion Week, and she was checking in, and I had the baby with me, and we were, like, going to the elevator to check in, and RJ had, like, just started like, I tried to time it perfectly so that he would be, like, fed and quiet and sleeping,
Mhm.
and, like, as we were getting onto the elevator, he was waking up and starting to cry, and then we got in the elevator, and someone was like, "Hold it," and I was like, usually I'm, like, pressing the button. Especially with a crying baby. Like, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to, like, enhance the other person's experience by not being subjected to my screaming children. Anyway, so we hold the door, and this very tall woman and another woman get on the elevator, and I was like, that's Caitlyn Jenner. And then she starts talking and, like, my baby's crying, and she starts talking to us like, "Oh, yeah, I have 10" and my mom was like, "Oh, sorry," like, trying to apologize for the baby
Mhm.
crying, and she was like, "I have" I don't know what she said, like, 9 or 10 grandchildren, and,
I
she's like,
know we
"Oops,
know
wasn't
them.
supposed to say 10 yet," because like, one of I don't know which kid it was, but, like, someone was pregnant, and I should go back and look. Whatever Kardashian Jenner was pregnant in September of 2018. Caitlyn spilled the news first.
You knew it. You
And that
had hot goss, wow.
that was my one and only celeb interaction in New
That's a good
York.
one. I
Yeah.
actually saw Rob Kardashian for my friend's 21st
Oh my
birthday. We were at, like, a hotel, like a bar and a hotel, I guess, and there was, like, no one there, and it was him and, like, 2 other people, and it was us, and we took that time we did take a picture, but we were, like, 21-year-olds that had no cool. We were just like, "Oh my gosh."
I forgot about Rob Kardashian entirely. I wonder how he's doing.
I mean, I
Anyway,
guess I guess I could text him because we became best friends when I met him in a hotel, but no.
13 years ago. Okay, well, Super Bowl and celebrity talk aside, this has been fun, but not while you're at the catch up with Claire. Because I want to hear about and I want you to share all about Greenwich Acapella. So let me give listeners a little bit of a backstory. We saw each other at Haley's baby shower back in September. And that's when I first learned about everything that you are doing with Greenwich Acapella and wanted you to come on. I told you that I had just was getting started with the podcast and you were so down. And so I was able to get obviously everything up and going. And I wanted you to come on a couple weeks ago to share about it. I feel like I learned so much and I have truly I knew about acapella because of Pitch Perfect, which we talked about.
Mhm.
But seriously, since our conversation, I feel like I notice it so much more. And so many of the little things that you taught me about like harmonizing and like being able to like sing a note and how you work with your singers and your students, I like notice in my own children. Like when they come home, they have music class once a week. And so now I feel like I'm able to ask them better questions. And one other thing before we really get into to talking about it, I want to say thank you for because I re-listened to our episode trying to make it work out and get the technical difficulty issues worked out. And you told me that when I asked you to sing, I was able to match your pitch, and I heard myself and I heard you, and I was not.
That's not true.
It is
That's not
very true.
true. Well, we'll have to
We're
go
gonna
back to the tape. You'll have to send it to me. I'll analyze it.
roll the footage. I don't know who's gonna roll the footage. That's my responsibility. I'm not gonna be able to figure out how to do that. And that is me doing a favor to everyone because I really was
I
proud of
disagree.
myself.
I do think that you did it, but
Okay, well,
whatever you
maybe
need to believe.
We'll put it to the test maybe again at the end if I'm feeling brave. Probably not though, because I was honestly horrified.
No, that's your inner critic. You need to tell yourself, "You got this," and you actually did. You can sing, don't worry. Also, it's not my job to
Uh,
say if you can sing or not, but you can.
well, you're a professional, so I'll take the feedback. Maybe I just need more coaching. That's what it is.
Well,
Talk to me about Greenwich Acapella, how it came to be, what it is. I feel like I'm jumping right in here, but
yeah.
give us the origin story.
Yeah, it's the thing that I love talking about most in this world, so very happy to talk about it. So I 5 years ago started Greenwich Acapella. So it is a community-based a cappella program for singers in kindergarten through 12th grade. Our primary mission is building confidence, and it happens to be through the lens of a cappella music, which I happen to love and I think is a really special creative outlet and musical outlet. But I started 5 years ago and I had done so I was a little backstory. I graduated college, went into teaching. I was a special education teacher, and I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. This was my plan. I thought I was going to be a teacher for X amount of years in a school, and X amount of years being like infinity amount of years, I guess. And then I there were a few opportunities for me to kind of like step into a cappella directing with some a cappella groups outside of school or outside of my teaching job, I should say. And I was like, oh, I really love this. So I wanted to bring it back to the elementary school that I was teaching at. I started a group. So there's not, in terms of contemporary a cappella, which is like pop, I guess a cappella is any music that doesn't have instruments, any, choral music or singing that doesn't have instruments to it. But from the lens that we use, it's like pop, contemporary, small group singing. I tried it with some 5th graders that were at my school, and there's a lot of collegiate a cappella groups, that's pretty popular. There's a growing amount of high school a cappella groups now, but there's very few middle school and almost no elementary school groups. So it was something that I wanted to see how it could work and how it could apply to that age group. And I had my skill set of teaching academics at that age level, and I had my skill set of a cappella directing and the music piece of it for older students. So I tried it out. The kids loved it. I could see so quickly how it was a method of quickly making friends and connecting to each other and really gaining confidence. The uniqueness of a cappella is that it's a small group. You connect with people so much more easily in that setting. It's not like a big choir. And then also, there's no instrumental accompaniment. So your voice really matters, literally. And you feel that, and it's just like so it's a really nice environment for building connections, and then the confidence it takes to do that and to get up on stage, and it feels so good when you do it and you have that it's more like a team really in that sense. So I noticed that was happening with these 5th graders, and actually a parent who was in the business world had said, I think you should think about this outside of the school setting. And I was like, no, I don't know. I work in the school. This is my job. And then I will say too, a shout out to Haley. She, a little bit before that, had transitioned from her full-time job to her own business and her own kind of founder entrepreneurial journey. And I was watching that and definitely inspired. And it definitely gave me some more security to kind of start something on my own that I might not have even thought about. So I did. I started, and we started with 8 singers in middle school. And then the next year we had 30, and I expanded it to I think it was like 3rd grade to 8th grade at that point. And then the next year we had 50 and then 80. And now we have 150 singers from kindergarten through 12th grade in several different a cappella groups throughout the week. And we get to do really cool things. And it is one of the happiest things that I get to do.
I'm sorry, one more time. You said you started with how many students 5 years ago?
There was 8 kids when we started out.
8 kids. And 5 years later, 150?
Yes. Which
I mean,
it just makes me see like, oh, this is something that is really special that kids get to experience. And it's really
something special
oh,
that kids get to experience and a gift that you have given them. Like, pat on the back, Lauren, for being able to make that leap and that jump and invest in something that, one, you have significant talent and skill in, but also being able to make that leap outside of the school Also, kudos to that parent who saw that need and sort of like being able to give you the push and confidence to be able to do it. I think, especially what you're saying, like for the younger kids in the K and 1 through 5 area. So, huge kudos to you for being able to one, see that as a need and be able to grow it into what it is today. Like 5 years in the grand scheme of things is so fast for that much growth. I'm also able to say this because we had the conversation 3 weeks ago and I know how many amazing things you're doing. But before we get into that, talk to me about how you got into acapella, like your personal background and history. And I know you said that you were part of an acapella. Is it called an acapella team or an acapella choir or an acapella group? Like, what is the terminology we use?
Yeah, usually an acapella group.
Acapella group. So you were in an acapella group in college and you also were performing in high school?
Yeah, so my high
What was your
school
trajectory there?
yeah, I grew up, in Connecticut, and the high school that I was at had an acapella group in I think there was just maybe there was 2. I think it was like an all-female one and then a co-ed one, and I auditioned for, like, the top one as a freshman, and I didn't get in, and I guess this is kind of like maybe the start of my founder journey that I reached out to a friend and I was like, "Let's start our own second acapella group." And there was an awesome director who signed on to kind of be our teacher and our advisor, and so we did. We started a second acapella group. We called it Acapella 2, like TOO, which like
I
it
love
got a
that.
little more creative. So I sang with them, and then I did end up making it eventually into the kinda, like, more advanced group. But so I got to sing in high school, and then when I joined my college a cappella group, I went to the University of Delaware, and I auditioned for the group Vocal Point, and that was really special because as a freshman, you go to college, you don't know anyone, you don't know what this experience is gonna be like, you're far from home. For me, I really hadn't spent that much time away from home, and it created for me an immediate sense of, here are these, whatever, 12, 15 people that are looking out for you, that will help you with
Mhm.
whatever you need, that are friends that you can hang out with, and it was just such a nice safety net and comfort to start college in that way, in addition to singing, which I loved, and getting to do fun things. But that was really special, and I actually still to this day have very close friends from that a cappella group. So that really made me recognize kind of the power of an a cappella group beyond just getting to sing. And then when I graduated, I didn't think I was actually really gonna do much with music. I just thought I liked it. And then slowly, I guess it's like 15 years later, it's such a big part of my life now.
I loved what you said at the beginning of talking about Greenwich acapella, that in acapella, everyone's voice matters and sort of the confidence that you can give a singer, um, to be able to use their voice and know that their voice has power. Like at such a young age, I feel like that is the most critical messaging
Yeah.
and like take home message. How do you feel, or how have you seen sort of the confidence that has been instilled in you from your voice matters in an a cappella group to being on stage and performing requires a degree of confidence and bravery and courage and putting yourself out there, even if you are in
Mhm.
a group? Like you still have to walk out on the stage, you still have to feel the lights coming down on you. How have you taken some of what you learned in your own a cappella journey and parlayed that into just like life in general?
Yeah, I think part of it is just the idea that you can do hard things and this idea of getting up on stage. And that's, I could think, one of the things that builds confidence, but using that performance, which we do in all of our semesters, they end with a big showcase that's professionally produced and lights and sound. And for a lot of students and myself, it feels really scary to get up there and do that. And I believe that there is no better feeling than finishing that experience and walking off the stage and knowing that even though it was hard, you did it. And I think that just gives you the power to do other hard things that aren't music, that aren't singing, but just the knowledge that like and life is hard. There are many hard things in life. So the idea that something can be scary to you, something can be uncomfortable for you, but you can believe that you can do it and we, obviously give our singers the tools and the rehearsal and all of the pep talks to build that success for them and to create a safe space for them to take that risk where we're hopeful they're going to be successful. But it's really just this feeling of, okay, I did that and I can do things when they get hard and it's not something that I have to avoid. And and then the other piece of it is the way that you can carry yourself on stage and how that can translate to other things, just in terms of how you talk to people in the real world, or how, if you ever have to make a presentation at school or at work, which in work, in life, like that is something that you often have to do, or network to go up to people that you don't know and introduce yourself. And so there's like, I think a level of poise that I've learned through being on stage that translates really well to other things that are either social or professional, and I see that for our singers too, our students.
It really is such a gift to be able to have a way to gain confidence and competence in something that comes more naturally and you can find fun and sort of group camaraderie through,
Mhm,
and being able to translate that into tangible life skills. Like, I don't think that connection is always made for people, and especially for kids. I mean, it's also hard because, like, my oldest right now is 7, but I try and talk with him, like, especially when even just speaking with people, like, it's
mhm.
easy to just sort of, like, look down or, like, not make eye contact or not wanna answer questions because for whatever reason, you say you're shy. But, like, those skills are so important, and so trying to find examples of how they translate to everyday life, and, like, these are things that are, like, for the rest of your life, you're gonna have to talk to people, whether
Mhm,
you like it or
mhm.
not. Like, this is a skill that you need to have. So I think, like, the ways that you're giving the singers that confidence to be able to practice. I wanna talk about the end of year, or is end of semester performance, because you're not just giving them a stage, you are giving them arguably one of the most famous and largest stages that there is. Tell everyone where your end of year performance back in December was.
Yeah, so that, and there's actually, we have our end of semester showcase that's at a local venue, but then we have what I think you're describing is these unique opportunities that are in addition to that, that are for our more advanced groups. And one of the ones is that they get to perform at Radio City Music Hall to open up for the Rockettes in New York City. And that is
Amazing.
so cool to me. That is so cool to me. And when I learned of that opportunity that you audition for and you apply for, and when I learned of that, I was like, oh my gosh, I would have loved that as a kid.
So did you, as Greenwich Acapella, audition to
Yes,
go to
you send
Radio City?
in
How did
yeah, you send in like they call it the Sounds of Christmas for anyone who's
Oh.
potentially interested in applying. And you send in a video and then you either get accepted or I guess don't. And we were lucky to be accepted and we got to perform. And I think a lot of like I've seen other high school choirs do it. I haven't seen a lot of younger singers, so I think it's really cool that our singers get that opportunity. It feels so special, and it's at this point now, it's a tradition that we've done it for a few years. My whole family comes. My little niece now is 2 years old, sitting in the audience watching it, and I think it's inspiring too for younger kids to see kids their age do something cool
Mhm.
like that. And I don't know that all of our students realize the significance of what that stage is and how cool it is, but something that we teach them to do in preparation is we have kind of like a checklist for them when they get on the stage, and one of them is like take a deep breath, one of them is adjust, the logistical things, adjust your clothes or whatever, make sure everything's laying the right way. But then one of the things is take a moment and look around at the space around you, look up, look down, and recognize, like, remember this moment that you're in. And I think people, and myself included, so often go through the different things that we do in life without pausing and saying, no, this is really cool. And I want to appreciate being here, not planning ahead, not thinking about what I did, but really being in this moment. And so that's something that we encourage them to do and kind of train them to do, I guess, in that specific moment. And hopefully that's something that they remember for years to come, hopefully.
I think it's even more impressive knowing that you have to audition and be accepted. I don't know what I thought, like, you just reached out to Radio City and they're like, "Hey, come perform."
That's on the DM.
But, like, I feel like that gives the audience too a degree of the caliber of talent that you are coalescing and that you are building and that you are constructing with Greenwich a cappella, and that you're doing so much more than just singing, grounding in these life skills of be in the moment, like work hard, earn your place on that stage, but also be so grateful and look around and soak in the moment. And you did earn your spot on this stage. So
Yeah.
enjoy it, smile, and, be brave and get out there. I am just so impressed by everything that you are doing and the gifts that you are giving these children, singers, through singing. I also want to hear more about how do you get in to Greenwich a cappella? Because when you first started, you had the program through school with just the 5th graders. This is now, I heard you say, a community-based program outside of school. So how do find you? Is it they have an interest and parents are connected? Is it an audition process? Is it anybody could come and, they're young enough that you feel like you can work with any, I don't know, I guess, level of raw talent to be able to shape it into more, I don't wanna say better talent, but, like, skill that you can grow
Sure,
their
yeah,
singing
yeah.
skill? Um, Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so it's different at different age levels. My dream is that a singer joins us in kindergarten and stays with us till 12th grade. And that is now starting to happen, which is really cool. Now that we've had 5 years, we've had some singers that have been here for a couple different levels of our program, which is really nice to see. And actually, I'm really seeing the skill level that they have from all those stages. And it makes me really excited and hopeful for what the future of our program will become. But at our base level, so we call it pre-acapella, which is kindergarten through 2nd grade. That's non-auditioned. Anyone can join, any experience level. No, pre-audition or anything is needed. I will say for starting out kindergartners, we do like a really simple audition where they sing "Happy Birthday." But everyone else, it's open, and same for the 3rd through 5th graders, which we call the junior group. And I noticed that the kindergarten through 2nd grade age level, especially, is our biggest number of singers, and I think
Hmm.
that that's a great thing because I see that parents or kids, whoever's kind of driving that process, are trying out a lot of different things and finding what they like, and I think that's really important for kids to figure out what they're passionate about, what do they enjoy doing. Maybe it's soccer, maybe it's theater, maybe it's all those things, and when they're young, they can do all those things. And then I see that as they get older, some singers that try out our group decide, maybe singing's not for me, I'm going to try something else. And that's great too. And then I see that the ones that really feel connected to singing into a cappella, then they often audition for our auditioned groups, which start in 4th grade. And then we have an auditioned middle school group and auditioned high school group. So those are the kind of, it's kind of like a funnel of the
Mhm.
ones that really feel passionate about it, and the ones that want to make the commitment to it are smaller in number, but stronger in skill. So those groups, as they get older, we have one of those groups, as opposed to at the younger levels, we have so many multiple classes of the same group. So it's a really cool way to kind of notice how how kids' interests change over time, and how they start to really find the things that they love. And doesn't mean that they have to be professional singers. That's most likely not the case. It's really just they're finding that this is what brings me joy. And that's cool to see too.
Do What is it that you think, especially the young age when you don't really know what brings you joy? Like, okay, that not that kids don't know what bring them joy, but I mean, like from an activity perspective, like again, my son is 7 in 2nd grade, and there's, I want to say 4 different choices for after school. And he does care now, but up until this year, he hasn't really cared too much. Like I can just sign him up for whatever.
Hmm.
Although there is no musical option, I will say that. Do you find when you're getting students, is it, as you said at the beginning, like a cappella is kind of more pop and contemporary based, like the kinds of songs that they're getting to sing? Is it friend group? Is it they just kinda like bopping along to music? Like, what do you think it is that gets them interested in something they maybe haven't experienced before?
I think from a base level, we are designing all of our instruction first and foremost as teachers, and at that elementary level as
Mhm.
elementary school teachers. So I know we have a strong understanding of what engages kids, what gets them excited, what's fun for them. How can we create a positive 45-minute time for them. And so I think even kids that maybe aren't so interested in singing can have a good experience with that because of how we're designing it. And I have an incredible team of teachers that most are elementary school music teachers and have a strong skill set in that way. So I think that's one thing that we think about. But then the other is, yeah, singing, like you said, singing songs that they like. And we have a process where we have 2 song choices for each group. And then they vote at the start of the semester. So they have that level of input in the song that they choose for their group. And we are choosing songs that, well, number one, they have a positive message because they're little kids. And you'd be surprised how many songs, when you actually look at the lyrics, are like
Not
not
good.
necessarily the messaging you want to put out there for kids. So we're really intentional
Totally.
about the types of songs and the lyrics and the message of the songs that we're choosing. But then also it's songs that they know oftentimes and enjoy singing. In, choir in high school, there were so many valuable things that I learned. The repertoire that we were singing was not my choice. It was not music that
Mhm.
I would choose to listen to in my time outside of choir, and I loved choir, and I still think that's a really valuable way of singing and learning. But the difference, I think, with our program and with pop a cappella is that you really are singing the songs that you like listening to.
What has been one of your favorite songs that they performed so far?
So our first, actually, I guess it was our second song. So we started with our middle school group doing a music video. So it was actually because I started during COVID and we couldn't have live performances. So the music video was just a natural way of having an
Uh,
end of semester performance.
mhm.
And that very quickly was clear that this singers love that experience and it's such a valuable way to express yourself. And I love the process. So then that's something that we've done consistently. And our first like big, like professionally produced music video was the song Fight Song by Rachel Platten, which
Such a
I
good one.
it's just so good. It's just
Such
so
a
good.
good one.
And we had a great custom arrangement that was done for us by an arranger, BK Riha, and it's just like it makes you feel and the singers just got so into it. And we've since brought that song back as like a finale song or something. And it's just it's a song that like the songs that I love personally are the ones that make you feel things and that's a
For
good one.
people listening that maybe don't know the song that we're talking about, could you give us a little snippet of it?
You are dying to ask me to sing, I could tell.
Yes, I am.
Um, okay, it's like, "This is my fight song." That's all you get, girl, you gotta pay extra for that.
Oh my gosh, I will. You're just so good. So
Rachel
much
Platt
talent.
well,
I'm
thank you,
so
but Rachel
impressed.
Platten sings it much, much better. But, yeah, that's a would you like a turn, Claire? Would you like to go?
No.
But, yeah,
No,
that's
after
a
that,
really,
how
really
could
fun.
I?
You'll have to come to our next showcase, and we'll get you up on stage with them. But, yeah, that's
Oh,
a really good one.
I would actually love to view a showcase.
You should bring the kids, that would be really fun.
That would be really fun. I'm curious, like, because you said, I mean, it makes sense what you're saying that actually the music video portion came first before the live performances because you started during the pandemic. But how did you come up with the idea, or like, how did you do that as like, how did you just know how to produce a music video?
Yeah, I didn't. I've learned so much over these 5 years, and I have so much more to learn. I It was very helpful to connect with people that knew I remember I had, like, a Google Meet tutorial with someone who taught me about recording software similar to my fancy podcast mic that
Did they
I
come from DoorDash?
that Doordashed here. I love Doordash.
Okay. We're going to side note right now to tell the DoorDash story because when we recorded our first episode, we did it like first thing in the morning and you were like, I'm sorry. Like we were both logging on right as you were supposed to start and you tell it.
Yeah, I am someone who spends a lot of time in my day doing things, mostly working, but I love to be efficient. And I have found DoorDash as inexpensive, but very valuable way for me to get the things that I need without having to spend the time to get them. So this is an ad for DoorDash. But yes, I DoorDashed a podcast microphone and I, just did a quick little googs of like a Google search of what to microphone for podcast. And I found it on Best Buy, and I ordered it, and then I assembled it, and it's here, and this is it. Hopefully it works.
Like, first of all, how honored am I that you DoorDashed a microphone just to talk on the show here. Like, truly, that means so much. Second of all, such an education I received that you can DoorDash non-edible items. Like, I had no idea. I still haven't tried it because I don't actually have a DoorDash account, but I
Mhm.
have thought about it.
Yeah,
I need
it's great. But I wanna point out too that I love podcasts, and if this was not a podcast, I don't know that I would have gotten something like this, but I love podcasts. I listen to so many of them, and I've listened to, I think, every single episode of the Catch Up with Claire, so just saying,
the best compliment there is,
it's very
truly.
genuine, and I love it. And so, yeah, I feel really excited about this. Yeah, I got to
Right, we're gonna make
myself.
lots of use from your new microphone. I couldn't see, that's why it
Oh,
knew we had to
wow.
have technical difficulties so that we could
Take it out for
use it
another
more than once.
good.
Take it out for yep. Bring out that bad boy.
Great.
Uh, okay, but I seriously wow, that looks, like, really professional. Mine
Thank you so much.
do you wanna hear this is here, since we went down this road, I picked out the one that I thought was cutest.
That's important.
I was just like, "Look at this
It
cute
is
little guy."
really cute.
No, it's not important. It's a bad lesson. Nobody do what I did and just pick out the cute looking one.
Well, it's obviously a
Who
good one, though. It's not like
what
it's like,
no, yeah, it was highly rated, but of the highly rated ones, I went with one that looked the cutest, and it wasn't because it's not very portable and it has to be close
mm.
to me, and so I should have gotten one on a longer
Yeah, I was
stick.
wondering about that too. This is not like, unless
Yeah.
I'm holding it here, it's probably not even working. Also, I don't know how to turn that light off, but that's tomorrow's problem. And
Yeah, I don't even know if mine's on. It is on, but I don't I just plugged it in and, God.
so
See?
equipment like this. Yeah, so going back to how in the pandemic I learned how to use stuff like this, I have not at all a proficient knowledge. Well, I guess it's proficient, not an expert knowledge of how to use all of these things, but I did learn a lot, which is really helpful with people that were experts in these different areas, and over the years have learned more about producing and about how music videos are made, and we have our biggest music video coming up that is, like, the project I am most excited about in all 5 years of Greenwich Acapella, so that will come out in late May, early June, and that's gonna be
What
amazing.
can you tell us about it? Because last time we recorded, you were heading off for an intensive weekend planning and getting ready for it. And since then, you found out that one of your choreographers is a
Yeah, which
Super
is
Bowl dancer.
so cool.
So, what can you share? What can we know about what to expect from this music
Yeah.
video in a couple months?
So I really wanted to do something. We celebrated our 5-year anniversary in May, and I really wanted to do something that captured all of what Greenwich Acapella is. And we typically do our music videos at the end of the year for our middle school and high school groups. But I wanted to do something that would showcase all of our singers and all the different levels and what it's become and how special it is. So I came up with the idea to do this massive music video. We're going to have 60 students in it, all different levels. So probably about 12. It will be about 12 singers from each of our one, two, three, four, 5 levels. And it's a long process. So we started it in November. So
What?
I guess, like, even going further back, obviously I need to partner with people that are really good at these things to be able to make this special music video. Well, there's like celebrities, I would say, in the acapella community of people that I've long wanted to work with and thought maybe one day I'll get to do something with them. And so I was like, who would be the best people to make this music video with? And I was like, oh, let me reach out to them and let me work with them. And so that's what happened. We had this incredible team. So our producer is his name is Ben Bram, the co-founder of Pentatonics, and does all of their
What?
arrangements. He's amazing. He has 2 Grammys, I think, an Emmy. He's so good at what he does.
And did you know him at all, or you just, like, shooted your shot and reached out cold?
So I, over the years, have gotten to do things with him for Greenwich Acapella, kind of as slowly having him do more and more with us and kind of like trying to nurture that relationship
Yeah,
so that we get to do cool things like this with him. So that's happening right now.
amazing.
So we just had 2 full weekends, like full days of recording sessions with our I think it was probably like 50 singers that did the recording sessions, which is huge. Like that was a huge logistical and planning task of how to get everyone and to have a positive experience at this recording
Mhm.
studio, and we had this wonderful recording studio that's based in Greenwich called 9 Point Studios that we got to record at and make our home for 2 weekends, and it was incredible, and it was really cool to see to watch how Ben coached them and produced, and so I learned a lot just even in that session or these sessions, but the final track so we got I'm learning now it's called a bounce, which is like when you save all of the files from the session and have like a, a track of that. But then it goes to different engineers who do post production. So there's an editing step that comes next, then there's a mixing step and a mastering step. So we'll have that song finished probably in about a month. But so the audio part is done as it relates to the students. So we had some workshops with them and then they recorded.
So, when you're recording for acapella, does everybody record at once or do you break up into the 5 levels or like how everyone has a different part? Like does everybody record or everybody in who does a certain part record and then the audio engineers layer it on top of each other or is everybody who's participating in the room together recording at the same time?
So
Is
it's a
that like do you track what
Absolutely,
I'm
yeah, yeah, it's
asking?
a
Okay.
combination of both. I think often in contemporary a cappella, so when high school groups or college groups record, it's often one at a time or a few people on one part that record, so it's really isolated, so you can in the post-production process, you can edit the pitch and, do
Mhm,
some pitch
mhm.
correction and really make it, like, flawless, so that is really only possible to do when it's a single singer isolated, otherwise, there's the sound from others, bleeding into your sound recording. So Ben did a very, very impressive and not challenging to learn arrangement of the song. So it's "Rewrite the Stars" from The Greatest Showman, which is beautiful.
Oh my
It
god, I love that movie
gives
so
me, like,
much.
fight song vibes. And do you want me to sing it again, for you?
Please, actually, since you offered it up.
Um, so that it's like a beautiful song, the arrangement's really great, and Ben designed it so that each of our groups are featured at different parts, so it's, like, so
Mm.
cool. So they all do have different vocal parts, but then they also have kind of, like, featured harmony lines throughout. So we did record them in those small groups of the people that are
The
on the
Greatest Showman is also so a cappella oriented, I feel like. I feel like this, like, meme or video makes the internet rounds every couple months, but have you seen it's The Greatest Showman, it's not Rewrite the Stars, but it's like Hugh Jackman came to New York to they had to pitch the movie to get funding, and he had just had, like, tonsil surgery or something. You're nodding, you know what clip I'm talking about, and he, like
not the tonsil surgery, I got lost, so no, I don't think I do.
well, it's probably the same video. I just did, like, way too deep of a dive on, like, what happened, but he was coming to New York because they had to make the pitch to get the movie funded in order to move forward, and he had this tonsil surgery, and so he wasn't supposed to be able to sing his part, and there was this other actor who was gonna do his part, and they start going it starts off, like, very low and dramatic, and then, like, people start coming in, and then Hugh, who's supposed to be on, like, complete vocal rest, just, like, starts going in and, like, gets all amped up, and, like, by the end of it, the whole room is doing all of their parts, and it's just, like, so emotional and cathartic, and it's just,
That's
like,
that's the vibe we're going for, and actually,
you're gonna yeah.
shout out to The Greatest Showman also. So, in addition to the amazing vocal production that Ben is doing, we have a really great I have a really great video production partner, named Shams Ahmed, and he's the, like, creative kind of guru, so he's the one who assembled the creative team. We have this fantastic director out of LA, this choreographer that we were talking about that was on the Super Bowl casual, and she was also a professional dancer in The Greatest Showman, which is so cool. So Shams is the one who is making this a more elevated experience for our students because they're gonna get to work with these, like, legitimate professionals who have experience, like, on the set of The Greatest Showman, which is so cool.
That is so cool, but also, like, don't for a second try and delegitimize anything you're doing because I'm also just still here in awe of hearing about everything that you have built, Lauren, in 5 years from 8 students to 150 plus to getting your students on the stage of Radio City Music Hall, one of the most iconic stages in the country, producing multiple music videos, working with the people who work with Pentatonics and like The Greatest Showman. It's incredible. Like,
Thank you.
what's sitting with me and what I'm trying to figure like how do you figure all of this out? Like I think there's a skill and like we talked about sort of the skills that and confidence that is gained from I think repetitive process, just doing things over and over so you gain the confidence, but also taking the first step, like putting one foot in front of the other, making the call, sending the cold email, getting the relationship, being connected with the person, and then building that into a relationship where someone wants to continue working with you and continue investing in Greenwich Acapella. Like, what has this whole experience been like for you as the leader of this group over the last 5 years?
I didn't know how much I would love the idea and the work of being a founder and being an entrepreneur and creating something, and I love it so much. I think kind of the root of what I try to do and how I operate with people and navigate all of this is to just give a positive experience to everyone that I interact with and make them feel good. I think that's really like the core of what I try to do when I'm working with our students or our families. It translates to like building up their confidence or teaching them skills that they're proud of or help helping to share with a parent how unique and how special their student is or their kid is from what I'm seeing happen. And I think building relationships that way has been helpful. But then the other piece of it is the business piece of it, and how do I network and how do I get to work with people that I am so excited to work with. And I think, yeah, part of that is just like trying to build relationships and leading with friendship and kindness. And so far it's been good. It works. And that's like obviously a very like generic way of looking at it. But
It's
I
not. It's not at all. Like I am not trying to cut you, but like it's unique and it seems simple because like of course, like be kind, invest, like focus on the good, focus on the positive. It seems so simple and obvious, but it's not. And I find it time and time again, like the simplest answer, like invest the time, pick up the phone, say the nice thing, take one extra step and it truly sets you apart. I think it's just little things that we undercut, but like when you think about it as a consumer, when a brand, a shop, a company, a partner, a whoever does one thing that someone else isn't doing, everyone is doing 5 steps, but if someone does 6 steps, you notice the 6th step. And it's just those little things, I think, that are appreciated and don't go unnoticed.
I want to take a moment too to say that I see that with the Catch Up with Claire too. And from no, genuinely, from even just like a branding standpoint, I've loved how everything looks and what you created like clear brand. But in listening to the podcast, it's very evident to me that like it's important to you for people to share about themselves and share about life and share about their struggles in a really honest and open way. People have been so vulnerable in the episodes I've heard. And that's like a beautiful thing that is not common and not easy to do. And I think like you having that safe creating a safe space for them and the fact that it's happened in so many episodes. Like I've cried listening to your episodes. It
Mhm.
makes me, and I've heard the guests cry sometimes too, and it's just like, I see that what you're creating in that way and in such a short amount of time too. So I have to give that feedback to you as well.
Well, thank you. But I think it's something that, like, kind of the point of all of this is the connection and is that sort of like human experience. I feel like, not to get all like macro level or whatever, but like, I feel like that's what's missing is little slices of our humanity. The more and more we
Mm.
engage through a screen and through like double tapping on things and like typing things on our keyboards versus having conversations and forgetting that there are real people on the other side of what we're putting out there. I feel that that matters, and maybe it doesn't always matter, but like that's sort of kind of what I want. To me, it matters, and so that's how I want to act and behave and
Mhm.
exemplify. And so, just hearing about you doing that and seeing it through your work and the things that you've been sharing with Greenwich Acapella. We've been talking for over an hour now. Share, as we wrap up, talk to me about you've been doing this 5 years now. I know you have big dreams, goals, and hopes for Greenwich Acapella. Give me your big audacious hopes. Where are you going to be 5 years from now?
So I I always probably have like a next step, next step, next step kind of thinking of all of this, but something I've learned is that my 5-year plan or even my 1-year plan changes because I see what's working, I see what I love spending my time doing, I see what our singers love doing and our families love being a part of. And so it changes. So I think if you asked me last year, I would have been like, oh, my goal is to start a Greenwich a cappella in all these different towns and have
Mm.
this more widespread nationwide thing. And not to say that that won't happen. And I think that would be really cool if that's the avenue that we choose to go down. But now I'm kind of just focused on building up what we have in Greenwich and really offering more things to our family. So not just the core a cappella group, but how can we develop them as vocalists individually, as soloists,
Yeah.
as
Mhm.
whatever skills. So that's what I'm really excited about next. And we've launched like a birthday party piece, like a little kids a cappella kind of piece, like for minis and, parents. And so there's so many avenues of what's in my mind of all the things that we could do. And it's obviously just a matter of choosing the thing that with my limited time and I will say too, I've very much shifted over the last year. So I also still work part-time as a teacher. I'm actually a math interventionist in elementary school.
It's
So
amazing.
over this last year, I've been really intentional about building out my team in a way that I am doing the things that my skill set is best suited for, and the things that don't have to be me, I'm sharing that workload with other very skilled people on my team, administrative tasks, different things, teaching. So that's been really nice too, and it's allowed me to really focus on these things that excite me the most, like our music video, and that's great. So I don't know that I could say like where exactly is the 5 years because I mean, I know I wanna continue to have as many singers as possible experience this and be part of our program. I just don't know what avenue that will look like right.
I actually love that answer because hearing that you've thought both about going wide and I don't know if it's like through franchise or how like but like spanning the country and creating more Greenwich acapellas across the country versus going deep and offering more services to the singers that you do have and the families that are already on board. Like there could be a hybrid of that, and I love just that you're putting it all on the table and doing, like, what's right in front of me now to take the next step forward? Like, what is the need right now, and where is that? And serving and catering to what you have, so it feels also like sustaining the business side of it
Yeah.
in a very sustainable way, catering to what you have, and then growing it where the need arises.
Yeah, and the other part of it too is it's very easy to get hyper focused on this work and do it all of the time and every day and every minute. But I also know that for it to be sustainable, like you said, I have to have a balance in my life. I have such an amazing family who lives so close by. I have my little niece who I love so much, and then I have like a really special group of friends that I want to spend time with. I want to take trips with, which we didn't get into Aruba. We'll have to talk more about that. But so there's other like life things, and
Mhm.
the part of why I can do what I do is because I have a strong support system in on my team, but also in my family as well. Like my mom, well, our last 2 recording weekends, my mom took my dog for the weekend. It was just like, "Okay, thank you. I don't have to worry about, like, going to let her out," and so it's really helpful to have those people that are supporting me, but also I wanna spend time with them. I don't wanna be doing this all of the time every day. So it's been a good challenge for myself of how can I create systems? How can I set this up where it's working really well? I get to love doing what I'm doing, but I also get to do other things too that aren't just
I actually am really glad you brought that up, and I think it's also probably a healthy note to end on too, of recognizing that as incredible as the growth with Greenwich Acapella has been, as much fuel as it gives you, as passionate as you are about it, is also there's a cost side to it, and that's, the girl trips and time with family and hobbies and being a math teacher. I mean, you still are teaching math, but
Mhm.
like I think we are always inundated with messaging as women of like, have it all, do all the things. And like, absolutely, you can have it all, not at the same time though.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
sometimes like, there are times in our lives and like the ebb and the flow of everything where your energy, your passion, your brain power is going 90% into one thing and there's 10% left over. Maybe
Yep.
that's a little like the wrong ratio, but you follow what I'm saying.
I
Like,
so agree, yeah.
actually, Lauren, you gave me this last time we spoke, and I have since brought it to therapy and talked with my husband about it because it was I'm a very visually
Are you talking
represent,
about
like,
the pie chart?
yes!
I
Yes!
love that
Lauren, I
idea.
can't, like, I'm serious. When you were, I think you said,
And it's not mine, to be clear. I don't know where I got that from, but it's not an original
I got
idea,
it from
but
you,
yes.
so you gave it to me. It's
Okay, trademark.
for some reason though, in my mind, you just said pie chart. To me, you said plate. So I've been going with like our plate and
That works
how
too.
full is our plate. And sometimes and like and it's like again, I said I'm a very visually represented person, but it's true. Like
Mhm.
sometimes there's like one little slice left over. Sometimes you're have a full, maybe it was pie,
Mhm.
whatever, it
You can call it
landed
a
and it
plate.
stuck, and it was a very, I think, helpful recognition of, again, the energy that we give to things in our life can take different shapes and different amounts of our plate at any given time, and sometimes we have to pour more into some things and pour less into other things, and that's okay,
Yeah.
but it's, I think, recognizing that and being aware of that is how we manage ourselves to make sure that everything that needs to be on that plate or pie is sustained for the long term.
Yeah, I
So
so
thank
agree.
you for that piece of wisdom.
You're welcome. And it really it helps me think more wide lens about my life and about how, like we have a finite amount of time on this earth, but also just like in the day. And it's important to make sure that we're using that time. Obviously, not every single second is planned and is intentional, but like overall, to be focusing on the things that number one, bring you joy, and number two, are good for the long term for you. So I've been trying to focus on that a little more.
Thanks for coming back for round two of this conversation. I enjoyed it even more than the first round.
I loved it. And I think it's really, we have to do one in person. Side note, I was thinking about that actually. I was in the city yesterday and I was like, what if I text Claire and just say, what if I come to you? But then I was like, okay, she has a system. It's working really well. But something to think about if you ever consider that. I would love to
Okay.
be there in person.
Okay. You shared first breaking news with me on the music video. So I'll share first breaking news. I want to do in person recordings. Here is my dilemma. And
Okay.
actually, you are also a professional. So you could probably help me get over this dilemma. I don't know how to do that, which like sounds so dumb, but like you have to connect to, like, here's my logistical challenge. Like we have to be sitting so close to each other to share a microphone, and it could be like an audio only episode, which I'd be fine with, but I feel like there's YouTube is the video, or we have to be in the same room but far apart enough that our microphones don't pick each other up, and so it's like one of us is in headphones, and that's like, it's not real math. Actually, you're a math teacher, so
Mm.
this could be a double hit here. That is the type of math that doesn't math to me. Like, who is in this microphone needs headphones, and then also the camera situation I need to figure out. So, like, I do have one other musical guest who's coming on at the end of
Ah,
March, and she has agreed to only do it in person, which, like, it's gonna be fun, but I'm like, you have to help me level up because I don't know, and she agreed that she would help me figure it out. And then there's someone else who I haven't shooted my shot with, that I'm traveling somewhere this summer and this person lives there, and I
yes.
really want her to come on, and that would be in person. So like that's my goal, is to feel confident enough to do the in-person recordings by this vacation in June. And so if you want to help me practice, girl, come back to the city. I
We can test
do
it out.
mostly nothing. all the time, and we'll go round 3, and we'll do it in person.
It doesn't we don't even have to record, we'll just test it out, and then it has to include dinner, that's a must, especially if we're in the city. But
And a
I would
cocktail.
love to help you with that. That's something that I think is a really great next step for the Catch Up with Claire, and I think would add a level of connection that would be special.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna actually make this happen because I'm trying to make my office more podcast friendly.
Mhm,
It's a small space, and so I know I need to get, like, a rug to absorb sound.
mhm,
I could use
mhm.
all of your skills, actually, if you were into this because
I'm into it. We are creating
Okay. Well, there if anyone's still listening, there's a sneak peek of what is on the horizon for the Catch Up with Claire. There's my little goal sheet for the next 6 months.
I love
Yes,
it.
I would love to do in person, and when I get the setup correct, you're gonna be one of the first ones. We're doing this with live.
And I
Not
would love
live, but in person.
you could that's step 3, don't go crazy. Oh my god, what if you did like a tour? Oh, okay, Claire, this is gonna be amazing. Your future I'm gonna be buying tickets for you at the town hall in the city, and we're gonna be watching a live tour that you're gonna
Wow.
do. I can't wait. It's gonna be
There you
good.
go. You're gonna have to escort me into Radio City. I'll have to apply for the talking program, not the singing program.
I know some people. I'll help you out.
Perfect. Oh my gosh, what a treat. Lauren, thank you so much for coming back to the Catch Up with Claire. Thank you for this conversation today. And most importantly, I need you to pass the biggest, cuddliest squeeze to baby Josie for me.
I will. This has really been such a treat. It's nice to just talk and to listen. I hope to be back and share a little more about our music video once it launches. And I can't wait to give my love to Josie and Haley from you.
Tell people where they can find Greenwich Acapella.
Love it. GreenwichAcapella.com is our website. And then also on Instagram, we share a lot about the behind the scenes and what we do in our rehearsals and all the things that we get to offer our singers. We'd love to sing with anyone who's interested.
It's great behind the scenes content. If you are a behind the scenes person like I am and you want to see what's going on, give them a follow.
Thanks,
Okay.
Claire.
Thanks, Lauren. We'll chat soon.
Bye.
Bye. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Catch Up with Claire. If you did, I would so appreciate if you subscribe, follow, rate, and comment wherever you're listening from. Share it with someone else you think might enjoy listening. This is how I can continue to have these conversations and bring these conversations to you. Until next time, be kind, be brave, and be safe out there.